You ever hear a story about a project that gets so hyped, so popular, it just explodes overnight? Well, what if that same project had a secret, a fatal flaw that led to a $16 million crypto scam and left thousands of users wide open to attack? Well, that is the incredible story of ClawdBot, and today we're going to do a full forensic breakdown and figure out how it all went so wrong.
Okay, just to be crystal clear, a security score of 9.8 out of 10, that is about as bad as it possibly gets. Seriously. We're not talking about a little bug here. This is a full-blown 5-alarm fire. It's a fundamental failure in the design that basically leaves the front door to your entire digital life wide open, with a welcome mat rolled out for any hacker who happens to wander by.
And while that silent catastrophe was lurking in the background, this is what everyone was talking about. A chaotic rebrand that lets scammers swoop in, hijack the original name, launch a bogus crypto token, and then, poof, perform a rug pull. They vanished with $16 million of investors' money. A huge, messy story. But as you're about to see, it was also the perfect distraction.
So, the big question is, how does a project with this incredible vision for the future of AI end up as a multi-million-dollar disaster? That's what we're here to do. We're going to peel back the layers on the public drama and the hidden technical nightmare to get to the bottom of it. But hey, before we dive into the collapse, you got to understand the appeal. What exactly was ClawdBot, and what was it promising that made tens of thousands of people not just download it, but hand over the keys to their entire digital kingdom?
Well, the answer is, it was selling a dream. A very seductive one that a lot of us in tech have been thinking about for years. It's the Iron Man dream. People weren't just installing an app. They were trying to build their own personal Jarvis.
So check this out. This wasn't just another chatbot you talked to. The idea was to have an AI agent running on your own computer 24/7, and it had deep system access. We're talking reading your files, checking your email, organizing your life, even coding for you. The promise was total automation, a real-life Jarvis. And boy, did people love this idea. The growth was just insane. It went from nothing to 60,000 stars on GitHub in just 2 months, making it the fastest-growing open-source AI agent ever. This wasn't just hype, it was a phenomenon. People were genuinely excited about this powerful, local-first AI. You know, an AI that runs on your hardware, giving you privacy and control, or so they thought.
But this is where the story takes a very sharp turn. Right at the peak of its popularity, the whole thing started to unravel. And it happened on 2 fronts. A super loud, very public meltdown, and a much quieter, way more dangerous ticking time bomb.
So the first domino to fall was actually a legal one. The AI company Anthropic didn't like the name Claude and sent a cease and desist. This forced a super rushed rebrand to MoltBot. And in the middle of all that chaos, the creator let go of the old social media handle. And as the creator himself put it, my old name was snatched in 10 seconds. 10 seconds, that's it. Scammers were just sitting there waiting. They grabbed the old name, used the project's good reputation to push a fake crypto coin, pumped its value up to $16 million, and then they pulled the rug. Everyone who invested lost everything.
A pretty shocking story, right? But here's the thing. That whole crypto scam, as awful as it was just a smokescreen. The real catastrophe wasn't about stolen money on the blockchain. It was about a deep, fundamental flaw in the software itself, hiding in plain sight from day one.
And this right here is the heart of the problem. It's called the local host fallacy. Okay, think of it this way. Your computer is a house. The AI agent is designed to only take orders from you, the person inside the house. That's localhost. But many users set up what's called a proxy, like a digital doorman, to let them access it from outside. The fatal flaw? This doorman was just terrible at his job. He basically told the AI that everyone knocking at the door was already inside the house, so any random attacker on the internet could just walk right in.
And that one flaw, it created a full-on digital crime scene. This wasn't some theoretical what-if. This had devastating, real-world consequences. We're talking about a zero-auth catastrophe, which means an attacker needed zero authentication, no username, no password, to get total control.
How bad was it? Well, researchers used Shodan. It's like a search engine for finding devices connected to the internet. And they found over 1,000 of these ClawdBot systems just sitting out there, exposed. Imagine finding 1,000 houses with their front doors just wide open.
And for about 3/4 of them, anyone could walk in and take over completely.
And once an attacker was inside, whoa, they hit what's being called an info stealer goldmine. See, unlike your web browser, which encrypts your passwords, this agent stored everything in plain text, just simple, readable files, no encryption at all. It even kept a file called Memory MD, basically a diary of the user's private thoughts and work notes. Perfect stuff for tricking someone later on.
So, what could a hacker actually do? Well, you had a few terrifying options. You could be a Shodan sniper, just scanning the internet for open ports and grabbing API keys. You could send a Trojan email with hidden commands that the AI would just read and execute. Or, the absolute worst case, you become a wallet drainer. With full access to the computer's files, you just find the user's crypto wallet and take every last cent.
But it wasn't even just about theft. There was this other really bizarre threat, the runaway loop. A hacked or maybe just confused agent could get stuck in an infinite task, just burning through millions and millions of AI tokens. And for the user, that meant a surprise bill for over $8,100 per week. A truly terrifying hidden cost.
So, after picking apart that whole meltdown, we get to the most important question: what do we do now? This whole case study gives us some critical lessons for how to secure AI in the future, and it all boils down to this thing called the super user problem.
This is what makes this kind of AI a whole new ballgame. An AI like ChatGPT is kept in a sandbox, a safe digital playpen where it can't mess with your computer. But MoltBot, it gave the AI super user status. That's the keys to the entire kingdom, and that's a game changer. Suddenly, you have a new kind of insider threat, where the danger isn't a rogue employee, it's the AI itself.
All right, so for anyone running this kind of software, the advice is clear and urgent. If you think you're exposed, kill the process right now. Then, go and rotate every single one of your API keys and tokens. Use secure tunnels, not simple port forwarding. And most importantly, isolate the agent. Never, ever run it on the same machine where you keep your crypto.
Now, zooming out to the bigger picture, there are takeaways for everyone. For individuals, seriously consider using dedicated hardware for this stuff on a totally separate network. For companies, you have to start treating these AI agents like privileged users with the same hardcore security you'd use for a top network admin. And for developers, the message is simple. Secure by default is not a feature, it's a requirement.
And this really gets to the core lesson of this entire disaster. We have to fundamentally shift how we think. For years, AI security just meant chatbot security, making sure the AI doesn't say bad things. But now, with agents that can actually act, we have to move to agent security. A whole new field focused on managing what they're allowed to do and why. I think this quote from the SOC Radar analysis just sums up this entire cautionary tale perfectly. The butler can manage your entire house, just make sure the front door is locked. That's it. That's the whole story, right there.
Look, the rise and fall of ClawdBot is way more than just a security case study. It is a preview of what's coming. It proves that these incredibly powerful autonomous agents are on their way, but it also screams at us that our current security models are dangerously broken. So I'll just leave you with this question. As these digital butlers become infinitely more capable, how are we going to invent and build the new locks we need to keep our digital houses safe?